Welcome to Optimal Frequency. I'm Grant. I talk to spirits here at my house using a new method I discovered a couple years ago where I will go to my kitchen sink, turn it on, stand there, ask questions of the spirits while I'm filming this with my camera. I then take the footage, run it through a commercial software called Crisp, which removes the sound of the running water, and hidden within that are words, even full sentences sometimes. This is crazy stuff. They always talk on point. They answer my questions. They are voices you will be able to hear with your own ears. I've done 350 plus videos on this. It blows my mind every time. So this week, I'm going to work on, I've decided the topic of time travel. Now, don't know where I'm heading with this. Maybe I'll be guided by the spirits. I don't know. When I'm standing at the sink asking those questions, you will hear the responses. It's going to be crazy. I know, because it always is. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens when I ask about time travel. All right, I'm ready to hit the sink, ask some questions. Jack's in his chair. My mother stopped by. We had a cup of tea and she brought him a new toy, so he's chewing on that, having a good time. So I'm going to go over here and we'll get this water going at the sink. Oh, did it bite you? Did your toy bite you? Hey? Hey? Did he bite you? Go get him. You gotta be quiet, we're making a video. All right, let's turn this water on and see what we get. Bunch of questions about time travel. He's laying on the mat now, being a good boy. He's a good pup. Feisty today. It's pretty loud. It's usually not that loud, just from the kettle fountain. All right, thank you, spirits, for joining me. Let's jump into these questions. Is time travel possible for us humans? Can we physically be transported to a different time? And by this, I mean by not only projecting our consciousness, but our actual physical bodies as well. travel both forwards and backwards in time? The experiments done in the 1990s with Kozyrev's mirrors in Russia, well, actually the experiments were done in Alaska, did some of those in the experiment actually look back upon themselves in time? Back in 1935, Air Marshal Sir Victor Goddard was instructed to inspect an inactive airbase located in Drem, near Edinburgh in Scotland. While flying over it, Sir Goddard found the airbase to be in poor state with cattle grazing on the wild grass that had now forced its way through the tarmac. It was in complete shambles. Later on, while flying his biplane, he got into a bit of trouble thanks to the harsh weather conditions. To avoid an accident, Sir Goddard decided to fly back to the airbase till the weather cleared out a bit. As he approached the airbase, the torrential rain oddly and very abruptly gave way to bright sunshine. If that wasn't odd enough, he also noticed that the airbase was in mint condition and now in use. Goddard spotted mechanics wearing blue overalls working on yellow planes parked on the runway. The planes were not the ones in use by the Air Force, as they should have been silver. Sir Goddard even recognized the design of a plane that was unknown to him at that time. Fast forward 4 years and we find ourselves in war-torn Europe. Sir Goddard got the shock of his life when he visited Drem again, but this time he saw everything he had seen 4 years previous in 1935. The same people in blue overalls servicing yellow planes. It was a full deja vu moment. He even found the plane he couldn't recognize before, a Miles Magister. Is Sir Goddard's story of time travel a true one? I'm hearing a man's voice. How did Sir Goddard fly into the future? How is it that he flew into the future briefly and then somehow flew back out to the past or the present? As he flew over the mechanics in their blue overalls, could these men below him see Sir Goddard and his plane from the past? So this next time travel story was posted to a paranormal blog, and it's a story from 1996. There was a policeman named Frank in England, and he was going to meet his wife Carol in a bookshop called Dillon's when suddenly a small box van that looked like something out of the 1950s sped across his path. It was honking its horn, and it narrowly missed him. More disorienting still, Frank saw that Dillon's bookstore now had crypts over its entrance, and that there were stands of shoes and handbags in the window instead of new fiction. The only other person not wearing mid-century dress was a girl in a lime green sleeveless top. As Frank followed her into the old woman's wear boutique, the interior of the building completely changed in a flash, and it was once again a bookshop. Do time slips exist? If Frank went back in time from 1996 to the 50s, was this 50-year span arbitrary, or was there a reason he went to that specific time? When he stepped into the boutique, why did Frank suddenly also step back into his usual time period? So this is a weird one, and I may have mentioned this on the channel before. I don't know if I did or I did not, but I actually have my own experience of time slippage from when we were kids. And Gary, my twin brother, was there, and he should remember this as well. Okay, so this is a bit of a freaky story. But like these other stories I've been researching today, it all happened so fast. Okay, so here's what happened when we were children. We were 7 or 8, and my friend Jamie was a girl. She lived next door. She was 1 year younger than us, so she would have been 6 or 7. And we used to play outside all day long from day you know, in the morning till nighttime. One of these days, we were down off beside her house, not too far away from her house, but there was a road that went down right past her house, and her aunt and uncle lived next door to her, and beyond them her grandparents did, and then right on the edge of that was the trout lake that we lived on. So basically her whole family owned this little road. We were down a ways off the main road, past their houses, a couple 100 yards. There's a little trail that kind of goes in between there. We played there lots of times, and at one point, one day while we were playing, we were doing something, going somewhere. Maybe we're taking a shortcut up to our grandparents to go swimming or something. I don't really remember what we were doing. But we stepped off of this path onto another path, and all of a sudden, all three of us, okay, the sky changed to a different time of day is what it felt like. I'm getting goose pimples here. Big waves down my arms. I'm trying to remember because this is from 40 years ago, okay? But it went to, I believe, like evening time when it was not evening time. The clouds changed, the lighting changed, and we were spooked. We stopped and we're like, well, we didn't want to go any further. This is not right. We're not in the right place here, you know? And I remember saying after the fact we were talking about it, I'm like, the electrical wires, the telephone poles, were not there. We realized that something had changed. We're like, no, we're not going any further. And we backed out. We walked back up the trail and we went back to the main road. And we're like, we're not going in there. It didn't feel right. It felt off. And even at that time, we felt like we had entered a different time. When we were children, myself, Gary, and Jamie, and we went down that path and the sky changed and it didn't feel right, had we slipped in time? Did we indeed go backwards? And if so, what time period did we go back into? Why did we feel afraid? Alright, thank you, spirits, for answering my questions on time travel. Love, peace, joy, and adventure to you. Thank you, viewers, for checking out the channel and the stories. We'll catch you guys all in the next video.